In this demo, you will learn how to stitch the patch pocket.
Okay, the next one we're going to do is the patch pocket. This is two pattern pieces. You have the pocket, okay, template number 16, 1 of 2, patch pocket, cut 1 layer of fabric. And we also have what would typically be the garment that's going to sew to. Okay, so this is 2 of template 16. Okay, they call it the patch pocket stay. All right, you'll notice there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points here. This is where the pocket's going to sew to. So those all need to be marked. If you were doing a finished garment, I would tailor tack each of these. But since this is practice, you can use a pen or a pencil and just make sure you have hole punches in these corners and just mark through. I'm just going to use a red pencil here and color in each of those points. Alright, and there you can see them. I'll even circle them. 2. Alright, so those are the points that the corners of the patch pocket will match up to once it's sewn. Alright, so here's our patch pocket pattern. You'll notice it has 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around, except at the top it has a 1/4 inch right there. Okay, what this is, you can see these 2 notches here. From these notches to here, that's an inch facing. Okay, so this seam allowance is going to get folded under, and then that facing gets folded again, and it clean finishes that top edge. Alright, so let's take our pocket. Let's go to the sewing machine. What we're going to do right now is at the top of that pocket, we're going to stay stitch at 1/4 inch. So let's put this right here. Don't need to back tack, we're just stay stitching. Okay. Got my scissors. Alright, once that's done, clip our threads. Now, we're going to stay stitch our 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around the rest of the pocket. What this stay stitching is doing is it gives us a nice clean edge to press under. So I'm just going to stay stitch. Pull this. And I'm going to stay stitch here. Okay, and continue. Notice I'm stay stitching off, one edge to another. I'm not turning at any points. Stay stitch. There's another 1/4 inch, or 1/2 inch rather. And here's the last one. Okay. Now the full pocket has been stay stitched all the way around. Okay, so what we want to do now is this 1/4 inch, we're going to press under like so. So let's take that 1/4 inch and press it right under. The reason we stay stitched it is it acts as a guide, and so it also makes it easy to fold under that 1/4 inch. There we go. Now we'll also fold back. You'll notice that you have 2 notches, one here and one here. That is our facing, which goes from this edge to this edge, so it'll be faced on the inside. We're going to fold back at each of those notches, make sure it's right at the notch. I'm just going to give a small crease with my iron right here in the seam allowance. And then same thing here to hold it in place. That's where I want it. Now I can easily just press it evenly all the way across. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I want to finish off this edge. So here's the face of my pocket that will be facing out once it's sewn onto the garment or the pocket stay. I'm going to take my facing and I'm going to fold it wrong sides together like so. I'll put a pin in just to hold it in place. Okay, there and here. There we go. And now I'm going to stitch here at a 1/2 inch. Okay, so let's go ahead and stitch this. At a 1/2 inch back tack beginning and end because it's permanent. And the other side as well. I tend to try to stitch from the face when I can. There we go. Okay. Okay, now let's just trim a little bit out of this corner, like so. Because remember, we want to get rid of that bulk so we can turn this right side out and not have a bunchy edge. Okay, and let's go back to the ironing board now. Okay, so let's fold this right side out, right side out. Use the point turner that you have. Get those edges out. Here and here. Okay, and there we are. This is what it looks like so far. Get that nicer there. Now this is, don't forget, these are muslin, so it's not very forgiving fabric. And there we go. Okay, so now on the wrong side, there's my facing. The 1/4 inch is folded up underneath the facing. Now we're going to press back on that 1/2 inch stay stitching our seam allowance to finish off our pocket edges. Try to get that stay stitching right to the back. Let's give this a good press. Now, this is just a demo to learn how to sew it, but if I was doing this for a client or somebody, and they don't do this, you'll see, it depends on how expensive the garment, how much money and time you want to put into it, but I'd probably overlock these edges, that way I don't have a raw edge inside that pocket. There's shirts you can buy all the time, and they don't do anything to overlock that, they're just raw edges. This is something to know, okay? And there is the patch pocket with the seam allowances pressed underneath. Okay, so that's the front of it. Here's the back of it. Okay, so let's remove. Now, let's take our pocket stay. And remember, we have these 5 points, and that's where our pocket's going to line up. Okay, so bottom point, you have 3 points. That's the center and the 2 edges, and up here the 2 sides. Okay, you'll notice that the pocket is wider, and we want that because there's ease built into the pocket, so you can get stuff in and out very easily, and it's not just really flat and straight against there. Okay, so we're going to pin. I like to start pinning by these lower corners here. Just lining it up. If it doesn't match perfectly, that's okay as long as you get in the right area. And I'm just going to put a pin in here. Okay, now to the top. Alright, so I'm just going to push these edges in so they line up with those points. And here as well. Now some people don't like this amount of ease in their patch pockets, and that's totally fine. When you're making your own, you can decide how much ease you do or don't want. Okay? So now what we're going to do is stitch around the edge to attach our pocket to our pocket stay or the garment. So, back to the ironing. Okay, so because there's a lot of wear and tear on the pocket, we like to stitch twice around here. So you'll see on a lot of pockets there'll be like a little rectangle that comes over and up and down, or it angles up over and then down and around, and you finish on the same side. And that's what we're going to do. Okay? So, let's start. Okay, I'm going to start right at the edge of my pocket facing. And I'm going to come up. I'm going to end up about a quarter out here. Back tack. Oops. And right about there to the edge of my pocket. That's where I want to come. Needle down, foot up, turn. Okay, I'm going to take a couple stitches this way to the edge of my pocket. And then I'm going to turn this way. Come right down. And I want to be about, about a 1/16 of an inch away from that edge of my pocket. Get to your corner, put your needle down, lift your foot up. That's good, I think. Stitch. To that point, needle down, foot up, continue on. Here, go to that point, needle down, foot up. And here I'm going to do the same thing I did over there. I'm going to come up, go over, and come back down diagonally. Adjust that right where I want it. 2 stitches. 1, 2. And then go diagonally and go right to where you can see the facing connects with the side seam. I'm going to angle it right there. And back tack. Cut this free. Oof, it's not pretty. And there's the patch pocket. Kind of messed up that corner a little bit. But that's it. That's the front of it. There's the back of it. That's what it looks like on the inside. And now